Ciao! Welcome into Paul Catalina's Top 5. Brought to you by Texas Beef House. Please use our code SICK'EM10. And thanks to Homage for the shirts. My name is Bo Jackson. You can go follow the link today and buy some shirts or some hoodies. Or Smokey got a really comfortable pair of shorts, but I don't think he's going to wear them on set because they're pretty comfortable. We don't want them to be that comfortable. But today, top 5 new DCs who hold the head coach's job in their hands. Number 5, Garrett's very interested in this one. Blake Baker at LSU. LSU's defense was uncharacteristically bad, maybe the worst in recent LSU history. A year ago, Blake Baker comes in from Mizzou with a lot of expectations and a lot of pressure to bring what he did at Mizzou to LSU and get them back to being LSU on defense. Over everything that they've done, even in the Joe Burrow era. Like, yes, the offense was high-flying when Joey B was there, but the defense was the spirit of the Tigers. That was the soul of it. That's how they got things done, was on the defensive side of the ball, with huge defensive linemen and defensive end and linebackers and DBs that intercepted half the passes that were thrown back there. Blake Baker has to bring that back, or Brian Kelly will start seeing some of those fans be like, I don't know how smart you are, Mr. Midwesterner. Number 4. Dave Aranda at Baylor. He's in the same position as Jeff Lebby was yesterday. Dave Aranda, the new defensive coordinator at Baylor, essentially, even though Matt Ballage still carries the title, he has to make the defense better. Now, this is something I'm pretty confident that he can do because he's one of the best defensive coordinators in the country. Bottom line, LSU knows it from the 2019 run. Wisconsin knows it from his time there. And if he's not a head coach at any time in the future, he'll be a defensive coordinator at whoever he picks up the phone and says yes to, because that's how good he is at this. He's a genius on that side of the ball, but it is in his hands now to fix it, and not just Matt Pallage's. Number 3, Andy Avalos at TCU. Now, Sonny Dykes' job is by no means in jeopardy, but they do need to improve on defense. That's where Andy Avalos, who former head coach and defensive coordinator at Boise State, who had a great run at Oregon as well, steps in, taking over for Joe Gillespie, who's now the head coach here in Waco at Midway High School. Andy Avalos has to make that defense better. He has to get them humming and feeling like they were just 2 years ago in every game but the Georgia game, where they make plays when they need to, they get big stops, and they create turnovers. Not something that happened as much last year, but more of the problems for TCU were on the offensive side of the ball. But still, TCU's got to get better on defense if they want to be TCU again under Sonny Dykes. Number 2, Corey Batoon from Mizzou. He takes over a team that had its first really good year in a long time and lost the aforementioned Blake Baker to LSU. So he steps in. He has to have a defense that's really, really good and can continue that pace. On the offensive side of the ball, they've got Brady Cook, they've got Luther Burden, they've got Marcus Carroll. They've got guys who can move and score. The defense has to match what they did a year ago for them to keep in contention in the SEC and for the college football playoff. Big shoes to step in, especially when we get used to it. And Eli Drinkwitz starting to make moves at Mizzou there, and new NIL money coming in, new transfers coming in. Should be really interesting for the Tigers, but Corey Batoon has a big job coming up this year. And number 1 in the Captain Obvious Awards, the opposite of Iowa, USC. Iowa knows exactly how to tackle and not how to score. USC does not know how to tackle. They don't know how to stop people. They don't even know how to get in their way. As a matter of fact, people have described the USC defense as kind of like being on a water slide. Like, for a minute, it's dicey, but then you just have fun. Lynn comes in from rival UCLA to take over that USC defense and get Lincoln Riley back into CFP contention. He has not had that at USC, due in large part and pretty much only part to the fact that his defense has been atrocious. Awful, terrible, gross. And Lynn comes over and he is the guy who is tasked with making USC a contender in the Big Ten and a contender for the CFP. Big shoes for Lincoln Riley, who's gotten everything he wanted in Southern California, but now he has to get in people's way. You can't just win on scoring alone. If the other guys score more, it doesn't matter if you can't stop them. Lynn has the biggest job. He and Tim Lester at Iowa have the 2 biggest jobs in college football this year. And Iowa getting them to score points, and then USC getting to stop the other team from scoring. And that's the top 5. We're back to wrap it up. Go to homage.com.